Was ist los? It's your German boy here, and welcome back to If My Heart Had Wings. Now, in the last episode, we rekindled a few relationships with some dear old friends, and it felt pretty good to catch up. So, we're just gonna leave off, we're just gonna go from where we left off, and here we go. Everyone put away their lunchboxes and got ready for the next lesson. Ageha went back to her seat. She stopped halfway, then walked back. What's up? Ageha seemed concerned about those around us and lowered her voice.
なんでハバネさんのこと知ってるのかなって。
Well, the truth is, my mom asked me to be the dorm mother of a student dormitory. I lowered my voice so that those around us couldn't hear.
寮の管理人？
Kotori is boarding there.
そうなんだ。
My mom asked me to take good care of Kotori. Even if she hadn't, I'd be worried about her anyway. As she listened to my explanation, Ageha thought it over. Her expression darkened somehow, oh boy.
このまま来なくなるんじゃないかってみんな心配してる。あんまり学校が楽しくないみたいなんだ。
It looked as if she was saying, I can't believe she doesn't enjoy school. You seem to enjoy it.
私？もちろんだよ。だって楽しいじゃない、学校。
I guess. It was still my first day at a new school, but I was enjoying it quite a lot too.
そっか。そうなんだ。
Whether or not she was convinced by my story, Agea mumbled something or other as she returned to her seat. After school, I was alone and I was wandering around the school building. This was so that I could take a look at some of the club activities we got going on. Film studies, theater club, there's even an RC club. Sweet! This is, after all, a specialist school. Looking at the playing field from the window and the heat outside, I saw the sports clubs practicing. Compared to my school, it's pretty calm. The sports clubs at the school I used to go to were taken so seriously. The sight of training before a match was one of grueling harshness. Wait, what do I mean, my school? I'm a student of this school now. I'll go take a look. I went down next to the playing field to watch the sports clubs practicing. Before long, I started to feel a little down, so I left. The doctor said that if it's light exercise, it shouldn't be a problem. I try stamping down strongly with my right foot, and there really isn't any discomfort. There, the baseball club, which was returning through the off-campus running course, entered through the school gates.
あ、水瀬。お前、水瀬だろ？
The one calling me was an old acquaintance. It's you, Taguchi! It's been a long
お
time!
前、帰ってきたんだってな。もう部活は決めたのか？
Nine, not yet. I'm going around taking a look now, actually.
野球部入れよ。お前ならすぐレギュラーなれるぞ。
When I was a kid, I often played baseball in the park. Some of the guys in the group that were my teammates, or on the other team, were in the baseball team. I'll think about it. I casually responded, and the baseball team members replied, Come on, join us, seriously, as they returned to the playing field. If I could do physical activities, baseball, in fact anything would be okay. As I grumbled to myself, I felt that I didn't want to go back to the playing field, so I entered the path leading to the back of the school. I spent a while walking around the back of the school. It was called the rear garden, but it looked like it hadn't been taken care of at all. It was just an empty space with weeds growing everywhere. In that empty space, there was a garage. What's going on here? Hello, I'm coming in. It looks like no one's here, but I thought I should say something to let them know just in case. Is this place used for club activities too? Or is it used for lessons? I don't know what they're used for, but there are many tools and parts crammed onto the shelves that cover the walls. Then, in the center, is a huge object covered with a sheet. The feelings that had washed over me like a wave when I watched the sports clubs strangely subside from being here. The tools in the dimly lit garage must have reminded me of the times I would tinker with my bicycle. What is this used for? I conceal the sound of my footsteps as I sneak inside the garage. It's pretty spacious. There's a tea set here, too. There was no doubt about it. Someone was using this place. I get a strange sense of activity. I guess it must be one of the clubs. Whoa! There's someone in here. I was so surprised. It felt like my heart was gonna jump out. The person over there seemed not to have noticed me at all. I'm not sure if you could call it a drawing board, but as she stared at the plans that were placed there, she was kind of groaning. Uh, I'm sorry for letting myself in here. I'll be going now. It's no good. She didn't hear me. Her eyes were so serious as she stared at the plans, and she looked like she was really concentrating. I didn't know what to do, so I just looked at her from the side. Now that I look closely, she's really beautiful. Why? I hurriedly look away. However, it looks as if she still hasn't noticed me, so I take another glimpse. She looks... Is she in the 5th grade? She's so pretty down there. Kotari is pretty too, but this person's different. Mysterious charm about her. She suddenly stood up. I'm sorry. Without thinking, I avert my eyes and apologize, but she's looking straight past me and grabs a big, thick book from the shelf.
やっぱりそうか。
She flicked through the pages and looked like she'd found something before going straight back to her seat. On good spirits, she began swiftly drawing the plans. The pen made a nice swoosh swoosh sound as it ran across the page. The feeling of maturity that she had just now suddenly changed. And she smiles all of a sudden. It's more like a... As her eyes looked straight at the plans, they looked as though they had a crystal clear purity to them. Just like an innocent child, her eyes looked as though she believed that the world was full of wonderful, sparkling things.
これでよしと。
Her hand stopped moving. I got the timing right. Excuse me. She finally noticed me.
いや、こんにちは。
Even though I'd unexpectedly appeared like that, she didn't show any signs of caution. Still in good spirits, smiled as she greeted me. Guten Tag. I thought that I should say something to her, but I didn't think of what to say after that.
どうかしたのかい？
I'm sorry that I just let myself in here. I just transferred here today, but I was taking a look at the club activities, and I got lost and came in here. I got a little carried away and said more than I needed to, but she didn't seem interested at all. She looked as if to say, "Ja, und?"
勝手に入ってくれて構わないぞ。
It seemed like a kind of blunt way to say it, but she wasn't angry or anything. She has a strange way of speaking. Well, I'm sorry. I better go. As I said that, like a total loser, a huge sound echoed around the garage. What's that noise?
ああ、お腹すいた。
With a lack of energy in her voice, the beautiful girl before me held her stomach and fell down onto the drawing board. Was that the sound of your stomach just now? We are inside the garage, so the sound echoed like crazy and sounded like the growl of a monster.
空腹だったことを体が思い出してしまったらしいぞ。
She seemed to sway as she tried to get up, but she didn't have enough energy, so she slumped back down with her cheek on the drawing board. Would you like to eat this? I took some bread out of my bag. I thought I'd get hungry with just a lunchbox, so at lunchtime, I bought some melon bread. Her eyes shone as if you're an explorer who discovered treasure in a cave in some unexplored place.
いいのか？
Go ahead!
ありがとう。
She took the melon bread, opened the wrapper immediately, and bit into the contents. She was getting crumbs everywhere, but really looked like she was enjoying it as she devoured it.
おいしい、おいしい。久しぶりのカロリー摂取だ。
Is that the... Bruh. Skip. The fact that she was so ecstatic over something like melon bread actually made me quite worried. She didn't show any signs she was thinking of my generosity and just ate up the high-calorie melon bread.
おいしかった。
She murmured happily, looking happy as can be. She looked like she was mulling over the taste of the melon bread.
脳に糖分が染み渡る。
She said as she turned back to the drawing board. Then she started drawing the plans again with incredible energy. From the serious look on her face, it seemed like she had already forgotten about me. She's strange. Not just a little, but very strange. In a good way. Okay, well, I'll be off now. Perhaps she didn't hear me. I put the melon bread wrapper she left behind in my pocket and turned to leave. I reluctantly left the special atmosphere of the garage behind me. Well then, maybe I should head back. By the time I'd finished watching the various clubs, the sky was orange as the sun was setting.
あ、いた。
Eh? Ageha was at the school gates. Ageha looks towards me and points the cell phone she is holding at me.
まだ残ってたら一緒に帰ろうと思って何回もかけたのにちっとも出ないんだもん。
I told Ageha that I would take a look at the club activities before leaving.
着信履歴見てみ。
I left it at the dormitory.
はあ？なんで？それじゃ携帯の意味ないじゃん。
Doesn't it say in the school rules that you can't bring cell phones to school?
そうだけど。 そんなの守ってる子いないよ。
It's alright if you don't get caught, it seems. In my case, I'm not so worried about the school rules. It's just too bothersome to carry a cell phone around me.
せっかく番号教えてもらったのに、これじゃ意味なしだよ。
How do you know my number exactly? 5 years ago, when I left Kazagawa, I was just a kid, so I didn't have a cell phone.
さっきあんちゃんから聞いた。メアドも送ってもらったから、これからバンバンメールするね。
What? Don't bother. It's too much hassle. Writing text on a cell phone is too fiddly, which is a real pain, so I don't really like it. I mean, if it was a smartphone, I'd kind of understand, but that's one of the benefits of having a clamshell, my guys. Keypad like that, you know, you can feel it, you know which number it's on, what letter corresponds to how many presses. I can text on this thing without looking. It's a piece of cake, honestly. I wish these old clamshells would make a comeback, but I'm digressing. But it looks like Ageha isn't listening to me and has started walking on ahead.
じゃあ帰ろっか。どうだった？転校初日は。
It seems like an interesting school. It was different to the sports schools or regular schools and had a special kind of atmosphere. Everyone looks like they enjoy it, and it's... how should I say... like they come here to hang out, I suppose.
それは言えてるかも。みんなやりたいことがあって来てるからね。
Things they want to do, eh?
入りたい部活は見つかった？
I don't know. There were a few that seemed interesting, though.
うち運動部はあんまり盛んじゃないから、葵には物足りないかもね。
What do you do, Ageha?
私はロボット部。ロボット作ってコンクールに出るの。
Okay. Robots, eh? That sounds interesting, too.
葵だったらいつでも大歓迎だよ。
Make that information what you will. Yeah, I'll think about it.
それじゃあ、私こっちだから。
Huh? Isn't your place around here?
ああ、引っ越したんだ。風見商店街が再開発でなくなったのを知らないの？
No way. Seriously?
でっかいショッピングモールができたの。うちの店もそこに入ってるんだよ。また休みの日にでも案内してあげるよ。じゃ、また明日ね。
Hey.
何？
Thanks for everything today.
いいっていいって。今度パフェでもおごってくれたらそれで十分。
Nine, I mean... that you are the same way towards me as in the past.
ああ、うん。
That was a big help.
私も葵が見た目以外変わってなくてよかった。あ、見た目もそんなに悪くないよ。極秘情報をリークするとね、今日だけでいろんな子から葵の携帯番号を聞かれたし。
Seriously?
訂正。スケベになったね、葵。
So what? I didn't have that kind of thing in an all-boys school.
まあ、健全な男子である証拠か。しばらく会わないうちに大人になっちゃったんだね。
Agaya looked happy as she said that. Should I be concerned? So have you. To be honest, I thought you'd grown up to be more rough and tomboyish.
だね。
Ageha started smiling quietly. Looking at that instant smile reminded me of how Ageha was when she was still just a kid.
おかえりなさい、葵。
Ah, yeah.
また明日からよろしくな、アイポー。
BAM! Ah, what the fuck was that? She gave me a great big slap on the back.
じゃあね
I guess you really haven't changed much after all, from what I understand. Ageha gave me a big wave and turned the corner. You dim cup. She might have gotten a little cuter, but she hadn't really changed on the inside. Welcome back, huh? Her attitude hasn't really changed since before, and somehow I felt that it saved me. After Ageha and I went our separate ways, I did the shopping for dinner on the way back. It's gonna be hot again tomorrow, so I have to give him some foods that would give him stamina. Enthusiastically, I put the menu together in my head. 9! I forgot to buy milk. There was a convenience store right in front of me. 5 years ago, there was a tobacconist here. It's a little expensive, but I don't have time to go back to the supermarket. I thought to myself. The automatic doors opened, and the self-proclaimed cool Alul left the shop. She had a bag on her lap, and she had a smile on her face, which was the exact opposite of cool. She didn't notice me and went back in the direction of the dormitory. It's her. She didn't go to school, so what is she doing? I gave up on buying the milk and followed Kotori. When she got back to the dormitory, Kotori opened the front door just slightly.
あと、あと。
She called Hat from the other side of the door and spoke to him about something. She was sneaking around and seemed really sus. Wait, is Kotori the imposter?
あいつがいないか見てきて。ほら、あいつよ。あの意地悪な男子。
Wait, you sussing us out? I'm sussing you out in return. Is she talking about Mish? This is his dormitory, so I'm the only guy here. I don't remember being mean, though. Just more shocked than anything else. I don't know why, but it would appear that she's sneaking around to avoid being found by ya boy. If that's how you feel, eh? I headed for the back door to the dormitory. I'll hide in the kitchen for now.
わわ。
Shh. If this is about me, tell her I'm not here.
わ。
I doubt that he got the message, but wiggled his butt as he left the dining hall and headed for the entrance. While I'm waiting in ambush, I'll put the food I bought in the fridge. After a little while...
いないみたいね。よしよし。
When Kotori came into the dining hall, she went straight for the cupboard and took out a spoon. While taking out a dish, she stayed seated in her chair. She put the shopping bag from the convenience store on the table. Inside was... Haagen-Dazs. Needless to say, it was top quality ice cream. Not only that, but it was family size. It's the big pot that costs 2,500 yen. Whatever that is in USD. I think it's like, what? I think... What, like 25 bucks, maybe? I don't know what the exchange rate is. She opened the lid and in her right hand, she had the type of spoon you'd eat things like curry with.
やるわよ、ついに。ガッガッ。
Koteri's spoon was still above the smooth surface of the Haagen-Dazs. Then she dug a big hole in it. Heyo! One scoop like that would be about 100 yen. She stuffed the whole thing in one mouthful. She brought her hand to her cheek as she's flooded in happiness from the bottom of her heart. What is she doing? Seeing what she was doing made hiding and watching seem pretty ridiculous. Without knowing I was watching, Kotori began to shovel in more like a construction machine. Even if it was only 105 yen ice cream, you'd savor the flavor more than that. With the next mouthful of ice cream, Kotori suddenly lowered her head, holding her temples. That's what happens when you go at it too fast. I'm just saying. To be able to get brain freeze from eating too much Haagen-Dazs is the very height of luxury. During this little pause, Kotori opened up her notebook. There's something written there. I sneak up a little closer behind her. Next to the words, eat as much Haagen-Dazs as I want. Kotori happily wrote the word, done.
Mission complete.
It seemed to be some sort of list. Things I want to do. That was the title, and there were bullet points below. Stroke the head as a big dog in the neighborhood. It's really scary, but it might be unexpectedly friendly. If possible, I'd like to ride around on its back. Aww. Fill the bath with water and swim in it like a pool. Pie throwing. And so on. Among those was go and see Windmill Hill. With done written next to it. What is this? Oh, we blew cover. Oh, shit. Whoa! Let's go! Whoa! Kotori's scream pierced from my right ear and out my left. Oh, God. I was here before you were. Her mouth was open in shock as she looked at Hat. Well, I guess it's no good sending a duck to scout the place out. Even if he was able to completely grasp what his responsibility was, there's no way he could convey the message. Kotori seemed ashamed and looked away. I'm sorry I surprised you. You were sneaking around, so I wondered what you were doing. I didn't mean to spoil our personal enjoyment or anything like that. I went back to the kitchen to get things ready for sup. Kotori's face seemed to say, now it only tastes half as good, as she sulkily ate the ice cream. Why are you taking time off school anyway? She's blatantly lying. But someone who has caught a cold be eating ice cream? At that volume, no less? I'm the dorm, you know. I have to make sure the boarding students have the right kind of lifestyle. She went to the trouble of turning round so she could point at me. If you want to call me dorm father, then that's fine by me, you know. Kotori turned back round and went back to enjoying her ice cream. If you weren't at school, then where were you? I softened my tone a little as I asked her.
あなたには関係ない。
Did you go back to the Windmill Hill? She's ignoring me and eating her ice cream. It's got something to do with me, doesn't it? It's got something to do with me.
だから、私はあなたを寮母だなんて。
I don't mean that. Yesterday, if I hadn't been passing by, where would you be right now? If you're not careful in a place like that, then maybe nobody would have come. If you can't move your wheelchair, what would you have done by yourself?
それは。
Do you still think it's got nothing to do with me? I'm not accusing her of anything. That's why I tried to speak as gently as possible, so as not to sound too harsh. However, I showed her how serious I was.
だから、お礼言ったでしょ。この私がお礼言うなんて、すごく珍しいことなんだから。本当よ。オオサンショウウオくらい希少なのよ。逆に感謝してほしいくらいだわ。
Are you proud of that? If you think that people would be happy because it's so rare, you're severely mistaken. Kotori seemed daunted by this sound argument, put down the spoon, and started thinking seriously.
でも、私こんなだから何もできない。アイス食べる？高いやつよ。
Nine, I don't really. I sounded a little so Kotori. Became tearful all of a sudden. Her cheeks were quivering as she desperately tried to hold back. Hey, I'm sorry, I was joking. Don't make that face, please.
別に普通だもん。
That's right, see, you're fine.
ガーガー。
Hat quacked as though he was trying to cheer Kotori up. I wouldn't tell you to say thank you, would I? It's just that if you go out without telling anyone where you're going, it's kinda dangerous, you know? She wiped the corner of her eye a little bit.
わかるけど、わかりたくない。わかるわけにはいかないの。
Somehow, that's what the look on her face said. She put the spoon down and went to leave the dining hall. Where are you going?
顔洗ってくるの。アイスで口の周りがベタベタするから。
She closed the notebook and put it on her lap. Then, a piece of paper fell from the notebook. You dropped something. Kotori looked as though she hadn't heard and left the dining hall. Hat went after her. As the sound of the wheelchair grew farther away, I let out a big sigh. Maybe I said too much. It's just that I was really worried about her is all. I don't know anything about what's going on with Kotori, so perhaps I was unnecessarily interfering. Wait. Speaking of which, she was wearing her uniform. However, she was wearing her own clothes yesterday when she went to Windmill Hill. Could it be that she was actually planning on going to school? That's possible, isn't it? As I thought of that, I felt my mood lighten a little, and I picked up the piece of paper she'd dropped. Huh? For a moment, I couldn't believe my eyes. It was a notice for withdrawal from the school. The plot thickens. And I think now's a good
元気出しなって、葵くん。
for this episode. I'm gonna catch up with you guys next time and see where this winds up. So, till next time, it's been your German boy. Auf Wiedersehen.